Lyndon, I think we're live, gal.
Oh, we are? I didn't see the live bug so that we're
I didn't
recording.
see you. Yeah, it came up.
Wait, is that okay?
Yeah.
Woo! Hey everybody. I normally wait for the little thing that says like recording and it's red. I don't know why I can't see that. But you know what, Al? That's why we're partners, because when one
And
of
it's
us slacks
Friday.
off, the other one
Exactly.
fixes right back up. How are you? Nice jersey.
I got my Happy College Colors Day, everybody. We made it. Auburn will take the field tomorrow. How insane is that? A fingers crossed, a full Jordan hair. I'm currently in a hotel room in St. Louis for an Auburn gal's wedding, but she is marrying a Georgia boy, so that should be a little interesting tomorrow during the Georgia Clemson game. But
Oh
I'm
my
pumped.
gosh, yes.
I know it's a night wedding, so we've got Auburn going on, and then Georgia Clemson. It's gonna be a wedding with some TVs in the back. But I've just woke up with just the biggest smile on my face. I'm just so happy that college football is back and fans are in
I
the stands.
literally
Like
can't believe it.
I can't either. Like it almost feels like it's like not real, and I'm just like waiting for something really bad to happen. But I'm
Yeah.
keeping my fingers crossed. Harsin's back. Everyone's back. They're gonna field a team in Auburn tomorrow, which is just crazy. War Eagle Mikey, thank you for joining us here. We
War
even announced
Eagle.
the show. We just jumped right into it.
Oh
This
my
is your,
gosh.
I
Welcome to
know.
Tiger Takes.
Welcome to Tiger Takes, y'all. This is a Friday edition, a special Friday edition before we get kick-started for a fun full week of football. Let us know what your plans are. Are you watching in Jordan hair? Are you watching in TV? Are you tailgating? Where are you tailgating? What you eating? What you wearing? It's a whiteout. So make sure you remember that so you're not the loser in orange and blue in the stands, because that's always my biggest pet peeve.
Good to know for me to tell the fam, because now the whole squad's going. My dog is excited. Lido, contain yourself. We're almost there, buddy. We're almost heading to
Almost there.
Auburn.
Almost heading to
But
Auburn.
yeah, almost.
I
It'll
think
be a
to
bright and early day.
Yeah, but I think to kickstart, we had some football last night that had a lot of Auburn storylines. Thank you guys for joining. This is such an exciting episode. And last time we had some football, we had an Auburn reunion in Orlando, of all places. You had good old Gus Malzahn coaching the UCF Knights last night in his first game down in Orlando. And then you had him playing Bryan Harsin's former team, Boise State. And it was a crazy game. It was a Thursday night. It was rain delayed, and it started until like 9 o'clock. Broncos went up early, and everyone was like, oh no, Gus. And then they made a wild comeback. It was weird seeing Gus in black and gold. It was a little weird, but he did have a former Auburn coach down there supporting him. Bruce Pearl headed down to Orlando to watch him. We got a photo up of him. Look at him. He's looking studly. He's looking jacked, and he is hitting
Someone
the
tweeted
gym.
and said, like, I thought this picture was Bruce Pearl getting ready for a UFC fight or something. I don't know. It was so funny.
I can see it.
He looks so jacked and
he's
so happy and so proud. That power stance, he's like, I'm going to support my good buddy Gus down here in the bounce house. Shout out to the bounce house. That's what I was watching for. I want to see how lit it was. They've been talking about the bounce house, like all summer long and everything. And, we both have a lot of friends on that staff. So what a wild ride, though. Like being down 21 points, and it was just like, oh no. Like,
we had someone comment in, Jonathan Abbott, that UCF win was about as Auburn win as you can find off the plains. It's true. I mean, it was textbook Auburn chaos. What is going on? Uh-oh.
Are we going to form an alliance with UCF fans? Because now they're going to feel what we felt like the last however many years with Gus, the emotional roller coasters and the come from behind victories. Like, we can help them,
Exactly.
I mean, we can help.
They need a little humbling, right? They're still riding that 17 Natty championship that we gave them the bragging rights to. So again, blame us for that. But I think they need a little humbling. They need a little heart rate monitor to go off on their Apple Watch saying, are you working out? No, I'm just sitting at a football game watching it. So
I was trying to say, so y'all think I'm crazy, the live bug is now live on my end. And we have been live for 5 minutes. So no telling how long I just stared at the camera. But y'all, I wasn't going crazy. It's normally there. So
Yeah,
just had to
exactly.
throw that
But
out there.
it's a Friday and it's before football, so it's okay if you started tailgating a little early, Lynn. I'll forgive you.
I
But
got
I
to
think
get
that's
through
just
high school football before I can really let myself get excited. But then come 1
ex-
a.m. tonight, I probably won't sleep
it's
for
on.
30 hours. It's on.
It's on.
Can't wait.
Exactly. Well, I just think it's so cool. I mean, people can talk all they want, did Gus live on good terms, blah, blah, blah. He took a lot of staff with him. But I think it's a really testament to what fans don't see behind closed doors. I mean, it's very rare you see a coach of another team travel down to go watch, a former colleague. That's rare. It doesn't always
So
happen. And I think that's a
you thought there
testament.
was nothing wrong with it. Like you liked it because it was
Yeah.
controversial. There was multiple takes on Twitter.
Well, there's always takes on Twitter, and you always got your cynical, senile, old folks on there who, have a lot to say. But no, I don't think it's wrong. Do I think that Gus and Bruce's relationship is going to affect what happens with Harsin on the field and what happens on the nights on the field and in recruiting battles? No. 10 out of 10 times Auburn's winning that recruiting battle. So I don't see how people can make that connection. Like, oh, Bruce is supporting Gus now, so that's not gonna do anything. Bruce and Harsin have it also a seemingly really good relationship too. They're pretty vocal and fun on Twitter. It's gonna be exciting once, a lot more of these restrictions come off, hopefully in the next year to see, a lot of more in-person action. I have no doubt that Harsin's gonna be at some basketball games at the Jungle this year.
Mhm.
So I didn't see anything wrong with it. What about you?
I mean, I took it at surface level. I mean, I have my brother saying that UCF's now going to be Auburn in the NCAA tournament, and they're going to tweet that photo of Bruce wearing that shirt. Which, come on now, we can so see that happening. Let's be real.
I
But
can. I
there's
can.
that side of it. You have my boyfriend who works in college athletics that has his own thoughts. I took it when I saw the tweet as like face level, like, oh, that's awesome. I feel like he told Harsin obviously what he was doing, like, don't be taken off guard. Like, no, like we
Yeah.
support you, but like they're neighbors on Lake Martin, they're friends, and he was very
Yeah.
vocal about it. Even when Gus got let go, that he was going to support him wherever he goes. And Bruce, man of his word, and he did that. So I liked it. I was all about it.
I do too. Yeah. And I mean, Gus, went to a bunch of basketball games too. He was at the Final Four, I believe. They also
Yes.
supported Butch when they went to the College World Series. Both of them were
Mm-hmm.
there on that run too. So I think it's also just different, right? Like football's dominant. It is king, whatever people want to say at Auburn. That's not going away. But I think what Bruce has built has made it a formidable opponent for football in some ways. You have a lot of just basketball fans that just like Auburn basketball. So I think they needed each other at Auburn for Bruce to like help that and Gus to kind of give, some shout outs to the basketball program and to do this. And I think Bruce really appreciates that. And I think Bruce is just a loyal guy. Also, I think it goes beyond colors and jerseys. He still talks very well about Tennessee and his time there and his players and all of that. So I just think if you read too deep into it, you're doing too much
Yeah,
on
take
just
it
something
surface
very
level. He's
simple.
being a good friend. It was a perfect night. It was a Thursday kickoff. Bruce, I doubt, will be another UCF game this year because he has a
Exactly.
job to do. Basketball season starts on time this year. So, yeah, well,
Exactly.
we could talk about this all day. We did have to throw out a little mention to our sweet baby Cam, who got released by the Patriots. Another Iron Bowl loss for
Mm.
AU, but we will overcome this and we will be better for it.
Yeah, I was talking to a Patriots fan this week, and he was like, "There's no way Cam makes it through the whole season." And I was like, "So do you think Mac Jones is like the king of all kings too?" And he was like, "No." So I don't think Patriot fans. Thanks, Jane, for joining in. We are also so excited and in the middle of my Mac and cheese
So
debate,
much
but
Auburn news.
so much Auburn news. But I mean, they don't think that Mac Jones is the future either. So I don't know what I think after Tom Brady left New England, it kind of just spun heads and no one really knows what they're doing. I think Cam's
Yeah.
going to get picked up. I don't think he goes all season, not at least seeing a team. I was really excited to see what he was going to be able to do this year. There was a lot of talk that he
I
was
know.
finally
Yeah.
healthy for the first time in a while, but a fit's not a fit. And if, it's not right for him, he said on Twitter in his Cam Newton
Don't worry about
language,
him.
not to worry about him. So and that's I take Cam's word over, again, fans' word.
Anybody.
So if they say not to worry about him, I'm not going to worry about him and trust the process. But I think it's time. We got all the news out. I think it's time to talk about what everyone's excited for and what we're excited to talk about, some Auburn football against Akron, a new era, a new team, some familiar faces, but other than that, it's new and no one
Wide
knows.
open. Mm-hmm.
It is wide open. And if you say you know what's going to happen this season, you must be making money as a future seeker because ain't nobody knows. Harsin's very tight-lipped about a lot of things. He's a football guy. He brought in a whole new staff from assistants to new defensive coordinator and offensive coordinator, brought in some transfers that have been no one knows, right, who these guys are going to meet. But you have some faces like Bo and Tank and Owen Poe and, you know, a lot of guys on defense. So it's for wide open. But why don't you kickstart us, Lynn, on what's our first question that we're so excited for to see play out tomorrow's game?
So let's go to the first thing we're excited to see. We'll pop it up on the screen. And again, please leave in the comments what you are excited to see this season. I think the first thing is, and this is a great game for this, because first game of the season, like, you want to see that quarterback. We want to see Bo comfortable. We want to see him do his thing and see if he does look different under Harsin. But we also want to see, you know, you cannot forget about TJ Finley here. And I think we'll see both if it's a blowout, because I mean, I think for TJ, it would be disrespectful if he didn't get in if we're winning by a lot. Like, he's a capable starter as well. I know Bo is the guy. Bo is going to his third year. What do you think, Allie? Like, I think for sure in this game one, we'll see both. But I know it's always like you always have that anxious period where you're waiting for that backup to come in. Like, will we get to see him? Will we get to see him? You see it on Bama every year. Will we ever get to see that, you know, the backup come in or whatever and do, because they're always winning by a lot. But I think we will. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's been a kind of a very small storyline, but it's starting to get a lot of chatter. Harsin, I believe, has come out and said he's not a two quarterback guy. He's tried it. It's not for him. He wants to stick with one guy, you know, and ride a high, barring anything, you know, crazy happening. But I think TJ Finley, from the reports we've gotten, you know, from hearing some chatter, he's capable, right? Like, a kid doesn't transfer from LSU if you're not capable of at least pushing. And I think that's something that Bo hasn't necessarily had during his time at Auburn, which I think has been a downfall, to not have someone behind him that has pushed him. You know, because you're only as good as your bench, right? That's kind of the saying. And it's only been Bo for the most part. And he came in with a lot of pressure. And has had some highs, has had some really good games, but have had some really questionable bad games. So I think if it's a blowout, I do think you see TJ Finley. I think Harsin likes Bo, has said very high remarks on Bo, understands what Bo means to this program, but he also doesn't have a loyalty, right? We say that a lot. Like, a lot of Gus's downfalls, people said, was he was too loyal. He loved his players too much that he couldn't, you know, the blinders couldn't necessarily come off if a new guy who was talented could come in and, you know, change it up. But I don't think I don't think Harsin necessarily has that so much ingrained in him on a whole new team. And Harsin has a competitive streak, I think, too. And I think Mike Bobo is the same way. They don't want to lose, right? You're a new coach. All eyes are on you in the SEC, in Alabama. Like, the eyes are on you. There is no one else that matters, really.
Especially after last night. Like, if people had forgotten that Harsin was having his first, you know, Auburn game this weekend after UCF Boise State, it's back on you, buddy.
Yeah, he had his little moment where people are like, "Oh man, Gus is in UCF. The Broncos, what are they doing?" Now it's back to Harsin. So I think we'll see Finley if it's a blowout, and if it's not a blowout, like, we're in trouble. Get your big girl panties on, because it's gonna be a very long season if we struggle.
That's exactly what my dad said last night. I was on the phone with him, and I was like, you know, because I'm working the game, I'm just trying to coordinate, like, you know, y'all, what are y'all doing saying the entire game? He's like, I hope, you know, I get to leave a little bit early. Like, I hope it's a blowout, because if it's not, it's going to be a long season. So, you know, first game is always exciting. There's Akron, you know, Auburn's had, you know, some big time opponents the past couple of years. Washington 2018, You had Oregon 2019. You had Kentucky 2020. That all SEC. So this is the first little, not Power 5 game you've had in a while to kick off the season. So I think it'll be nice, and I think it'll still be very entertaining because all of us are going to be watching every single play, and as fans, Auburn fans love to be coaches. We're going to be evaluating everything as well.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's all new. So I think we're both in agreement. Let us know in the chat if you think you'll see TJ Finley. We know Bo's starting, barring again anything happening in the next 24 hours. But I think if things go as expected, you will see TJ Finley take a couple snaps at quarterback tomorrow.
Our next big thing is Auburn's defense still legit. Well, this is one of the things that, I'm going to ride with and say, my goodness, I hope so, because you have some of the team's biggest leaders back, ready to freaking go. The Freak being one of them, Owen Papo. And, you have Chandler Wooten, and I just really am excited to see these guys come together. We talked a lot about Auburn's defense on Tiger Takes leading up to the hype. Allie, what do you think? I think they're going to impress us. I hope they do, and I'm really, really excited to see how they work under Derek Mason. So much respect for Derek Mason. Can't wait to watch him.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that both Derek Mason and Bobo were going to be up in the boxes for the first game. Now, Harsin said that could change, but watching Derek Mason at Vanderbilt, I mean, he was the guy on the sidelines. I mean, he was in your face. He was the best post-game interviews. He was so energetic. So I find that very, very interesting. And we're going to miss guys like Travis, T-Rob on the sidelines. He was a very vocal on that Auburn defense, but there's a lot of hype around a lot of players in Auburn's defense, much more so than I think outside of Tank and maybe Bo on the offense. I think a lot more eyes are on this defense. A lot more returners. A lot of guys.
I feel like the stars, so to speak, this year.
Yeah,
the star power is on the defensive side of the ball this year.
Yeah, I mean, both captains are defense guys, right?
Defense.
So that's Harsin making a statement saying, when our defense comes out, they're coming out for a reason. Almost very like when Marlon Davidson was there and Derek Brown was there, when they were the captains, right? The defense were the captains when they were there, and it's very similar vibes.
Going back to even Deshaun, you know what I mean?
Yeah, Deshaun Davis, Trey Williams, it's just very esque when you have these star up and coming upperclassmen guys on a team. It's just very viable. But I want to say that they're legit, and I want to say that all this talk that the players are saying about themselves pay off, because they will get rocked if they don't. There will be, they just will. They will get run over by an SEC running back.
We got Penn State in 2 weeks.
3 weeks away, right? And who knows what they're going to look like. But, it's not an easy game on the road at night in one of college football's best traditions. And it takes a lot to, be able to stay strong. And they've been vocal. Owen Papo has said, we are the best linebackers in the country. There is no argument, no debate. That's a bold, bold, bold statement to make if you're not going to live up to it. I will say that it's been a while since I've been so excited for a defensive coordinator at Auburn. It was really exciting when Will Muschamp was here because he got all those recruits. It was like, holy smokes, what's happening? Didn't quite live up maybe to the standard, but Derek Mason is a defensive guy. Even as Vanderbilt defenses were pretty great in most games, you could say. If you look back at his record, they were really good, and he's a defensive guy. And I've said this, I think, on Tiger Takes before, and I kind of have feelings about it for some other coaches. Some guys are just meant to be coordinators. You don't have to be a head coach, right? Some guys just are better as a coordinator. And I think Mason is one of those guys. So I'm really excited to see him flourish and thrive in that position without having the head coach duties. So I think they're gonna be legit. How legit? I don't think we'll know against Akron. I don't think we'll know against the next team. I can't even remember who that is. I think we may know some more come Georgia State. Yeah, that's it. I think we will know more come Penn State on the road for this defense.
But yeah, definitely excited to see what they can do. Hoping for a shutout, right?
That's what we're
I'm
hoping for.
anticipating seeing how the second volley of the linebackers perform. The linebackers perform. Cam Riley, Wesley Snyder, Desmond Tisdale, etc. That's a really good point, Greg. Like, we gotta have depth. Like, we're in the SEC here. Like, and you've got to.
And that has been one of Auburn's
weaknesses.
Exactly. It's been one of Auburn's, I think, another Achilles is the depth. You have these guys, one
They
goes
just
down.
Get tired. Yeah.
They get tired.
It's like
it's a long season. It's a long grind. So that's a good point. It's a lot of names a lot of people may not know, right? That are going to have opportunities to make a statement early against Akron. I don't think you're going to see the first string out there again. In theory, the entire time. Hopefully not. So we'll have an opportunity to see some guys who can step up late in the season when fatigue and injuries and everything in between starts to catch up for some of these star players.
Next point, I think we're going to talk about the big man full tank. Let's go. So, Allie, I just want to remind everyone, you said that, one of your hot takes that we've had on Tiger Takes is he's going to score on the, the first snap for Auburn. And do you still feel strongly about that? He said, take it to the house, full speed ahead, full tank.
Look, I'll stick with it. I don't know if it's going to be the first snap, but I do think he will be the first touchdown. So I'll go for the full snap because I probably did say that as bold and as cocky as I am.
Very
so
bold.
I will say maybe the first snap, but I do think he will be the best touchdown. And I think the question here a lot of people are asking is he going to start hot or is it going to be a slow burn with Tank, right? Like, is he going to come out of the gates running 100, 150, 200 yards a game in these easy ones and be too tired come the middle grind of the season, right? When you have Penn State on the road, you go to LSU on the road, like a lot of these early games, you have Georgia at home in early October now.
Mm-hmm.
Is it going to be a slow burn or is he going to just come out firing? I think he's going to come out firing. I think he's seen the Heisman chatter that started with Auburn fans. I think he understands the opportunity he has on a new offense, or a lot of option schemes that it sounds like are going to be very Tank friendly. He's definitely made it known that he wants the ball, and that's going to happen. So I think he starts off hot. I do think he hits 100 yards this game pretty easily. You are worried again with injury. He's had some, things here and there, but I think he wants to be the best running back in the country. And you have to do that off game one. You can't, ride slow and then kind of crack in the middle. You can, but it's a little easier when you start to get momentum forward. So I think Tank's going to start hot. I think he's going to be the first touchdown for Auburn tomorrow. And I think the Tank gifts and the Tank memes are going to be on point tomorrow, and everyone should have them geared up and ready to go.
How often do you think Aubie dresses up like a tank this season?
Ooh, that's a good one. I hadn't even thought about that. We should pass that on to our friends of Aubie, because that's a good idea. It's a good idea. What do you think? Do you think he's gonna?
I can see him dressing up as a tank at least 4 times, like the full-out tank, and rolling in. Yeah,
I could see it. But what do you think about Tank the player? Do you think it's going to be a hot start, or do you think he's going to try to work it?
I think it'll be a hot start. I think if he takes any time off, I guess, or slow burn, or just taking it easy, probably next week at home against Georgia State. I think next week at home will be speaking of depth, a really good time to let Sean Shivers get a couple more touches, and they'll share touches anyways, obviously, but I think Tank wants to prove something. I think the hype's been real. He was our little golden nugget from, a year ago. He's had the hype since high school. So I think he's going to come out home opener. And back to, they had a home opener last year, but that was kind of weird. But it's been 2 years since you've had, the start of the season at home more than that, because 2018 on the road, 2019 on the road. I don't know. I feel like the players know it's a special moment tomorrow, even if it is, Akron. We're not going to disrespect them. I think he wants to come out blazing, and he'll put up big numbers tomorrow for sure, 100 plus.
No, I agree. And Greg, I think that's what we're saying, right? Is how much is too much? And, there's been some players. Shivers isn't bad. Exactly, Robert.
No,
Auburn does have depth.
I am a
You're
Sean
a
Shivers
stan.
stan.
You are.
He's
You
my
are.
favorite. I covered him in high school in Florida. I love him. So
Yeah, and I think it's depth, right? I think at any position. We
hmm
talked about
This is a great
Bo and
problem to
TJ.
have. Yeah.
It is. You have Bo and TJ. You've got the linebackers, behind them. You have Sean behind Tank. Like, those guys need to see action. And I think we've also seen some times in the past where maybe a player should have been pulled a little sooner. I think Kerryon Johnson,
Carry
but
on,
he was also a
Johnson.
bulldog. He was also a bulldog, and he wanted the ball game in, game out. And I love and respected him. But there could have been some games where he may have needed to tail it back instead of getting hurt later on that season. You know
And
what I mean?
respect
So
for
I
him
think
because he still played hurt so much too.
so
But
much,
you
so
don't
much.
want that because he was a star. I mean, yeah, you don't want that for Tank. Like, can't even
Exactly. So I just
imagine.
think it's a fine balance of making sure he gets what he needs so he's, feels confident, but
Feels
also
fed.
understanding October 9th is, and September 18th for that matter, Penn State is not far off. So there's no point in, cracking the whip too early.
hmm Okay, here's a fun one. Our last little thing to discuss ahead of game day. Oh, we're trying to picture you guys so you can get on this. What do we think Harsin's game face will look like? What do we think he will look like on the sidelines? I imagine he just being intense. He was intense during Tiger Talk this week, talking about how we're still not even thinking about Saturday. It's all about preparation, 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 which has been his thing since his Christmas Eve, presser. And I think we're going to see him be very intense. I don't picture Bryan Harsin an advisor. That's just me. What about you, Allie? I think he's going to be in
No,
player
I don't.
faces gritty.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to see a visor on Harsin this week. And I think you will see a very vocal, very bouncy coach on the sidelines, which is different. Me and you were talking about before the show that Gus was a little more reserved until later
Mm-hmm.
on in his career at Auburn, right? He kind of let his coordinators and assistants do the verbal discussions, do the throwing of the playbook on the ground or high fiving or chest bumping kids on the field.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Harsin wants to establish that. I think a lot of players respect coaches that are like that. And he's been like that in practice. We've seen videos of him getting in people's faces and asking them what they're doing, um, congratulating them, which is equally as important. And like I said, it'll be interesting to not have either of the coordinators on the field. Was that a Harsin decision to say, I want this on mine? I want to see everything from my eyes this first game. Was that the coordinator's decision? You have to think that it was, because Harsin, I don't think, would be the one to decide where, but it'll be interesting to only see him down there, along with the assistant coaches. But
One
yeah,
of the
I
things
think
that he
you're
said
gonna.
this week that made me laugh a little bit when he's talking about play calling and how he's gonna let Mike Bobo call the plays, but he said twice, he's like, but I do like to make suggestions. I just think that's fun. I think, he is a guy that is willing to give duties off to let the coordinators be the coordinators kind of thing. But, he is pretty hard nosed. And if he doesn't like something, he's going to definitely be the first one to suggest something else.
Which I think is interesting, right? I mean, you have all, again, in the past 10 years, people saying who's really calling the plays at Auburn? Is it, XYZ? Is it the head coach? Like, who is it? Or here, Harsin saying, I'll tell you when I made the call. Like, I have
Yeah.
no problem saying that I failed, that was my call, or I did well because that was my call. But it's up to the coordinators. And I think that's a really interesting to establish very early on as at his career at Auburn, is to say, look, like you said, if things are going down, I'm fixing them. There's no argument there.
He
But
is
if things are
manning the
going,
ship.
yeah, but if things are going well, I'll step back and do what I need to do in like a support role, which I think is very, very interesting and very unique to establish that very early on in your career. I mean, Mike Bobo and Derek Mason have been around the block, right? They've both been head coaches. They've both been doing this a very, very, very long time. So I think that's also just like a nod to the level of respect that Harsin's showing them as well. You know, he brought in veterans for a reason. This is Harsin's first major power five. I don't know if Boise, they might be power five, but first major coaching role, right? And I think it's naive to think that you know how to do everything on your own at this level when you're going up against Nick Saban, you know, Kirby Smart. So I think it'll be very interesting. I don't think you see visor. I almost think you see like a very athleisure look of Harsin. I think very much like going to the gym, like a rain beater, definitely shades Ricky B. I do think he has been known already to rock
Yes.
some sick shades. He's been using the eagle eye logo a lot. I've seen a lot of fans being like, wow, that he's bringing that back, which I think is so dope. He has a lot of shirts that just have like the eagle eye. Or the tiger eye, the eagle eye, the tiger eye, which is a logo that's barely been used in the last decade.
Yeah.
And he's bringing that back. He wears a lot of colors. You don't see him in a lot of orange. He's very much, I think, a navy guy.
Mhm.
So I think you'll see a very athleisure Under Armour just going to the gym and maybe like picking up lunch on the way out. I don't think you're going to see him rock like a sweater vest
A
by any
vest,
means on the
a
sidelines.
polo. Yeah, no. I see athleisure for sure. Dry fit. I could even
Yeah.
see him honestly wearing like long sleeves tomorrow. Now it sounds like crazy, but like a dry fit
No,
long
I could
sleeve
too.
shirt. Like
Exactly.
yeah.
Very much like going to the gym and picking up lunch
Mhm.
later on in the thing. No, they all wear suits, you know, before the game, and he's, you know, rocking that, you know, before when they do the walkouts. But yeah, I think, and he's mentioned too. I mean, I think he's really excited as well. He said that he wants to sneak out to go see the eagle fly for the first time because that's coming back this season. So I think he's pumped and he's really trying to embrace as much Auburn tradition and Auburn culture as he can, while also understanding like it's his ass on the chopping block if things go wrong. And I think he understands that. It's, you know, it's not hard to miss. He's been a headliner all summer, but I think he also is trying to embrace that this is a really special moment for the fans, the players, college football in general, and he wants to be a part of that too. So I think that's going to be really cool to have someone experience Auburn for the first time. I mean, Lynn, do you ever bring people that have never seen Auburn for the first time and it's like magic? Their eyes are like, oh
Oh
my
yeah, I'm
God.
taking
Like
some
you kind of
tomorrow. It'll
expect
be
that.
fun. Yeah, I'm excited. Excited
Yeah.
for him and the fam. Everyone, let's all be kind and welcome him to Auburn, to Jordan Hare for his first game. Can't wait. So what are we toasting to today for our Tiger toast?
Ooh, this is a good one. I think I'm gonna toast to, first of all, my friend, one of my best friends from school, getting married. Obviously, congrats, Liz. You're marrying a Georgia boy, but again, we'll pass that along. But I think I'm toasting. You know, I was watching games when I was flying into St. Louis last night, and if you're gonna sit here and tell me that fans in the stands don't affect games or don't have impacts on games, then I don't know what sport you're watching because it changes the dynamic of a home game. That's why we have home games. That's why there's a home field advantage, is because of the fans. Sure, it's because they know the locker rooms and it's more comfortable. Whatever. It's because of the fans and the energy and the atmospheres. And I'm just toasting to all of those. I'm so jealous we're going to be in Jordan Hare tomorrow. Enjoy every second. We made it. I know it's been a tough year. I know it's been really hard on a lot of people, but tomorrow is going to be good weather. It's going to be a cool moment. So just try to enjoy it. I know it's, you know, fun suckers everywhere, but it's just a moment and we made it and we're here and I hope everyone has fun. I'll be heavily toasting to an Auburn victory tomorrow in my wedding dress. So
In your wedding dress.
oh, not my wedding dress, no. My wedding attire.
Just kidding. Allie is actually in
kidding.
Vegas. And
Yeah, just kidding. I'm just kidding, Mom, who's watching. I'm not getting married, I promise.
Oh my goodness. I'm going to toast all the traditions coming back. Tiger Rock coming back, a little bit modified to make it more safe. That'll be awesome for the players and for the fans to get to do that. It's it kicks off the day, kicks off the game. Game starts at Tiger Walk and it's so much fun. And the Eagle Flight coming back. It's just gonna, I've forgotten what normal felt like. It's just, and I haven't been on the sidelines in over a year either because we couldn't shoot the game last year. So I get to shoot the game again tomorrow. I'm so excited, and I know. So it'll be so much fun.
We've got someone
Robert
else
King
toasting.
says,
yes.
Toast to the new Auburn staff. to start the season off with a bang. What do you think,
I'm so
Leah?
pumped, and
It's gonna be great.
I'm ready. I'm so ready. Be kind on Twitter, folks, please. I'm begging you. It's the first game. Now, if it's going bad, by all means. But if we don't win by 70, that doesn't mean Harsin should be on the chopping block. So let's just keep perspective in mind, but also have so much fun. I'll be keeping up on Twitter since I won't be at Jordan Hare. Lynn, you're gonna be shooting the game. That's so exciting. I can't believe it's back. But yeah, we did it. I think I think we'll start doing these predictions, before the games. I obviously think Auburn will be 1-0 come Sunday. What about you, Lyndon?
For sure. Like, I want to get like a big score, like 42-3. Like, I hope that's it. But maybe I'll say 35-3. But I definitely want to shut out.
I was gonna say, I think it's gonna be 35-7. I think that's reasonable, understandable. This is also Akron's first game back too, so they're gonna be hyped and ready to go. Everyone is always hyped playing in these big stadiums. When you're a smaller team coming in, so there's gonna be a lot of hype around them too. So we're both taking 1-0. We're both taking 35-7 and 35-3. Let us know what you think the record for Saturday is going to be at Auburn tomorrow, or the score will be for Auburn against Akron for game 1 of the 2021 season.
Woo-hoo! Let's go. So exciting. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for letting me hold my dog. He's a baby and he was barking unless I held him. So here we are. He says War Eagle too. He'll be in his Auburn jersey tomorrow.
Exactly.
He's going to lay it out tonight and pick it out so he can show off to all his buddies. So, woohoo. Okay,
awesome.
We'll have fun at the wedding. I'll talk to you later. Bye, everybody. Have a good weekend.
Bye, guys. Have so much fun.